Hey, welcome to Positive Partners. And so you just got a dog and you want to know how to train it. And so we're going to tell you today a little bit where to get started and how to begin training once you got a dog, whether it's a puppy or a rescue or whatever. So stay tuned. Hey, glad you could stick with us. So welcome to the Positive Partner Show, and here with Tom High School.
Hi, and Mike Thompson.
Yep.
Mike's the director here of audio services or video services, at
media.
Rio Grande Media. Thank you, at Rio Grande. And
Both
owner
the
of
sound and the visual.
sound and the visual. You put them both together. And I'm the owner of Positive Experiences Training and a graduate of Karen Pryor Academy and a PhD in clinical psych.
So does any of this change if I have a puppy versus a shelter dog or a full-grown dog?
Yeah, shorter attention span for puppies,
Yeah.
but you want to make training short and keep them in the game, keep them enjoying it. So and stop your. That's one of the points here. Stop your whatever you call training before your dog is ready to stop. Stop when they're still wanting more. Yeah.
So you're not yelling. I was like, pay attention.
Yeah. Well,
just like your kids.
Yeah. Stop while they still want to keep going on, and that way the next time they'll go. Oh,
It'll
cool.
be more like a reward rather than drudgery.
Right. Yeah, we can make anything into a drudgery if we want. Yeah. So we got some steps here, and these are the steps that guide the way to success at Positive Experiences Partners. Now, it's great when you can bring your dog in for training, and it helps. I mean, you've got a coach who knows the pace and the kind of the procedures and the timing and all that sort of stuff, and is there by your side. But 95% of dogs or 90% of dogs never get any formal training. So you care about your dog is just as important, and you are as anybody else. So if you go along with these guidelines here, and that's going to move you to success. So we'll go through them. I've condensed them down here. So number one, the first point is connect what you want with something that matters to your dog.
Okay, so this is what motivates your dog? Is it a food-motivated dog, or is it a play-motivated dog, or attention?
Yeah.
What's the carrot that's going to make him perform?
Right. And whatever, the point of behavior is it gets something important to happen. If behavior didn't get something important to happen, we just drop it.
Why do I need to do that?
We don't do it. Yeah. So that idea that you connect something you want with something that matters to your dog is it's just built into the equation of learning. Now, how you do that doesn't mean you have to be throwing a treat to your dog. Like you said, dogs are motivated by affection. They're motivated by activities. We'll talk
a lot
about
of them
life
like
rewards.
a ball or something. That's my favorite ball. So
Yeah. The meaning of life is a ball, right? So
I was going to say unless he's fixed, but
Yeah. Well, even then. So now there are other types of training that are pressure-based. And it works if you know how to do it, but we'll talk about
Is that
if
what
we
you're
get
talking
time.
about, negative enforcement rather than positive enforcement?
Yeah, if you've got a pinch collar, or you've got some sort of e-collar, or if you're being verbal and kind of hard that way. Now you talk about puppies. That kind of stuff doesn't work for a lot of dogs.
And use the negative stuff as sparingly as possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that gets right to the end of all these points, is that negative pressure-based training is not on the list of things to do according to the experts and the most knowledgeable people who are the board-certified veterinary animal behaviorist.
That'd be like your last resort. If you tried everything else.
Well, no, yeah, basically, and you know, for pressure-based, you know, or punishment-based stuff to even begin to make sense to a dog, the dog's got to know the correct behavior. Because if they don't know the answer and you put pressure on them and say, "What's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer?" All you get is, "I don't know," you know, and you know, you can get a dog to shut down that way. You can get them to not do things and so
not
forth.
trust you because you just keep punishing me for I don't know why.
Yeah, if you put a dog in a situation where they don't have the answer, you've led them into that situation. They will make a calculation. They do figure out who they can trust, whose guidance they can trust, and whose they can't. And so if you put them in that spot where they're trapped, there's no winning, that sort of stuff, you know, that's going to deteriorate the relationship. That's going to deteriorate your leadership. So, all right. So on the positive side, and you first want to train a behavior so a dog knows it, you know. And on this point here, dogs are visual learners. They're not verbal learners, you know.
And I always usually we're kind of half ghosty here. Do I need to help you out? Okay. I think you pressed the wrong button.
Okay, but speaking from the ghost realm here a little bit.
You're fade to black.
Oh, okay. There we go.
There we go. We're back.
Right, where were we?
Okay,
I was
well,
gonna say
dogs learn, you know, they communicate with each other and they read each other visually. So dogs are going to learn gestures. They follow our eyes. They follow. They're one of the only other living creatures that understands our gestures.
more than we do.
Well, they read. Yeah, that's their business is to read them. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say is, along with sit, I'll do a hand motion or down, or roll over.
And really what you want to do is, the reason why, you know, I can say, you know, abajo, abajo, abajo to you all day long. Unless you speak Spanish as a human being, you don't know that that means down, okay? Dogs aren't born speaking English, they are born speaking nonverbal, because that is how they communicate. They don't go, rah, 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 you know, I mean, they will with us, but their main way of communicating is with visual, you know, with body gestures and so forth. So what they're learning when they learn a behavior is they're learning to follow a gesture, or they're learning to follow our hand or something like that.
And a lot of the things are just by habit, you know. This is what happens every day. They get up, and then I get to eat, and then I go outside, and you know, it's routines. And
we want to use those routines to get the habits that we want, and those routines are part of daily rewards that can make training a part of just what we're doing as we go through our day. And we're doing that whether we realize it or not. So it's better to do that with your mind actually registering what you're training instead of, you know, backing into it there.
Just like if you're ready to feed, then make them do something before they get fed.
Sure.
You know, okay, before I'm setting the bowl down, sit or down, and after you do those two things, here's your bill.
There's a life reward right there. Yeah, and that connects your dog with you. So we're just in our talking, and we're hitting a lot of these points. And as I go through this, we'll go, okay, hey, they just talked about that. So you want to teach your dog a behavior. You want to teach the behavior before you put a name on it. So you want to teach them to, and we'll talk about how to get behavior, but you want to teach your dog what to do before you give a name to what you do. And rather than saying, okay, down, 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 you can leave out the down and just go like that. And if your dog's watching your gestures, and the dog goes, okay, that a little bit, you know, the dog crouches a little bit, you go, yes.
You're in the right direction.
You're in the right direction, and that's a lot of this training business is being in the right direction, and then you move it from there. All right, so great. All right, so, and on the point that you talked about there, dogs learn behavior in situations. They're not a big generalizer. They're not going like, okay, I did this at doors, so all these other doors that I come to, that's what I should do it. No, dogs learn what to do in a specific situation at a specific place with a specific person.
Right, like the front door at my house doesn't mean go outside. It means go for a ride.
Right.
The back door means go outside and do your business.
Right, right. And that's with you. And if some other person comes over, that door doesn't mean the same thing as with them. And so anyway, dogs learn very specifically. Okay. When a dog does, we were talking about, you know, moving in the right direction, give a right at the time success signal. We'll come back to that, but right at the time. Now, within 1 or 2 seconds after that, follow that success signal with some result that matters to your dog. Seems to make sense. That's how learning works.
If they go outside and you're trying to teach them housebreaking, when they go pee right now, go, yeah, that's good, but wait till they're done before you give them the treat.
Right.
But don't give them the treat when they come back inside.
Right. The behavior that works is coming back inside.
Right.
Yeah.
So wait till they're done, because if you give them the treat before they're done peeing, then they stop.
Right.
So wait till they finish their business. Go, good boy. Here's your stuff. Let's go back in.
Yeah. And that's exactly completely. Yeah, that's what you want to do, and because you want to think, you want to think in a practical way. What is a behavior that just worked for that dog? And they're not going to connect to 5 seconds ago, 5 minutes ago, 2
like
hours
I'm doing
ago.
It now? That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. There we are. All right. And you want to learn the 4 basic ways of getting behavior. We'll come back to what those are, but there are 4 basic ways of getting behavior besides ESP. Mix up your rewards and include life reward activities as part of your daily routine. So there are all kinds to build the habits that you want, because we have different situations all day long. We want to build the habits up in our dogs. So that just makes life easier. So when the dog comes to the door, or when you go reach for their leash, what they do is they sit, or they stand quietly or something of that nature. So you want to get those habits going.
And that's one of the bad things. And I have a set of keys that I take to work, and I have a set of keys that I've taken on walks and going anywhere.
And they know which is which.
And they hear that little jingle, it's like,
yeah,
hey,
it's that
are we
jingle,
going?
jingle. Right, yeah. Okay. Well, do they know the difference between the 2 sets of keys, or jingle is? Oh, they do. Okay. Right.
Yeah, if I pick up my work keys, like, okay, see you later.
Yeah, and
if I pick up the other keys, like, hey,
yeah, that's all right.
I think we're going somewhere.
Yeah. So dogs pick up on little differences in our behavior that we don't know that we're actually doing something different. They do. So you want to think about that. Divide teaching into dog doable steps. Okay, and that's partly what I'm trying to do for you here, because now you're not going to remember 12, 13, 14 things, but in a certain situation you can just make some notes of this stuff here. I'll read these again, but make it a doable step, because if you're given something that's just too darn hard and that's your next step, it's not happening. And we're going to get frustrated, we're going to get discouraged, we're not going to have confidence in that person who's leading us in that direction, and we're going to give up, check out, So, okay, now to teach, to make a behavior stronger, you want to use the 3 Ds. Now, what are the 3 Ds? They're duration. That's how long you're asking the dog to do the behavior. Is distraction. That's how much that is around at that moment that would pull your dog's attention away. What tempting kinds of other things are in the environment that the dog may want to look at or do. And distance. How far away from you or how close to you to the dog are you? And you work with all those. Those are the things that define a behavior. I can get my dog to sit for 5 minutes when there are balls rolling around, when other dogs are walking past, when there's all kinds of activity, and I can ask my dog to do that from a distance of 20 feet. So those are the dimensions. So we'll come back to that. Okay, we talked about motivation, and it's just like any of us with learning. You know, we're learning something new. We got to keep in the game.
I was just thinking about something, and clicker training and stuff, and how you might think of social media as training people.
Oh yeah.
You know, you put a picture up, and your immediate rewards is somebody clicked like.
Right.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
I need to do that again.
Yeah, right.
I'll
Yeah.
get some more likes.
Yeah,
I'll get
and
some more
I
clicks.
put something there. Did anybody like what I just said, or is there
and then
resounding
that keeps
silence?
your attention.
It does. And actually, video game designers have psychologists or behavioral people on board, and what they do is they build in the rewards and difficulty level in a real step-by-step way to keep you in the game.
That's why certain games are addicting, because
That's the point
I
of
can
it.
do it just a little bit better, and I like those little sounds and
Yeah.
things it makes. And
Yeah. So they're playing around with your reward system, and they're keeping your face in front of
just
that
like
screen.
a dog.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, that's our reward.
I'm just likening it to the positive reinforcements.
Right. Yeah. It helps to know how behavior works, because it can be used in a good way, or it can be used to keep you in front of a screen. I was just reading some article about students, and they dropped out of school, college. They had a good thing going on.
Oh yeah.
But they stayed
Got
glued to
distracted.
some sort of, you know, video game thing, and they were lost in that, and there went the rest
If I
of it.
put up
But they're
a picture
they're
and I
deep in
get
it.
click, 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 like,
Yeah.
or I can go study,
Right. Yeah.
which, you know, the reward for that's like way down the road.
Way down the road, yeah. And that brings into also something here, you know, that's like way down the road. That's duration. That's how long will your dog do a behavior before they get a payoff? Okay. That may be that the payoff is, hey, you get to go outside. Or I'll put the leash on you, or, you know, I'll throw your ball or something like that. But how long, you know, and we would call it patience or character or perseverance or whatever, but it's duration is what it is. Okay, so keep your dog doable steps small enough so that your dog gets it at least half the time. Okay, we'll come back to that, but think about it. If you're not successful half the time, or at least half the time or more, how are you going to feel about what you're doing? I mean, if you're
It's a waste of my time then, I guess,
Yeah.
if I don't see any reward very soon.
right, you know, and if you just keep on this hit and miss deal, you know, it's like I'm getting some, you know, things sometimes, but, you know, I'm putting out a lot of effort and things aren't getting any better. So, yeah, we'll come back to that there. After training, you want to give yourself a little time back. You want to let your dog rest. Now, if they're tired, and let them sleep, because with all, I'm going to get, you know,
Dogs are not used to working all day long like we are.
That's true.
They're used to sleeping most of the day.
Yeah,
Like we wish we could.
Episodes of effort, you know. Although I mean, some working dogs, like, you know, herding dogs, are busy all day long. But
Right.
you know, but let your dog rest afterwards, because it's part of neurobiology that at least once you get to the mammalian level of complexity, sleep is what consolidates learning. What sorts out how it worked and keeps what worked and weeds out the other part there. All right. So exercise your dog. Dogs left with a lot of unburned energy will often find an energy outlet that you don't want. Plus, they'll have a hard time focusing on training if they're just, you know, bubbling with energy.
Yeah.
And it's especially for early training, especially for
Like what
puppies.
I say with all dogs, tired dogs are good dogs.
It helps. It helps.
You know, if you've got a husky, you got your work cut out for you.
Right. And what it means is if you've got a tired dog, it means your dog's been busy doing things that are rewarding to them. So you've got a tired dog and you've got a dog that's fairly content.
So when you leave the house, oh man, it's time to sleep.
Yeah, we're good.
And you're not going. He's not going to be bored. It's like, I think I'll chew up the couch.
Right, yeah.
Because I got a lot of energy.
I got a lot of energy. I just got to do something. All right. Learn what your dog's body communication signals are to tell them, to tell you how things are going for them. Now, when we're training dogs, we're doing what we do now. I mean, you're looking at me and I'm looking at you for verbal signals like, yeah, you're doing okay and that sort of stuff. So we're reading each other's nonverbals, but we rely on our words. When dogs don't rely on their words, they're visual and body language learners and communicators, and their nose. And thank you. And so when we're training and teaching our dogs, we want to hear with our eyes. We listen with our eyes so that we can make decisions that are best for them and for us. I think we'll come back to this next time. We'll go into detail into each one of these things, and I'm going to have a list of these here. Now,
body communication? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, I mean all these points here, because
Okay.
there's some, how do you implement this?
Oh, okay.
I want you to hear the concepts, because once you hear the concepts, you kind of go, okay, well, that's sort of easy, and maybe that's kind of obvious, I hadn't exactly thought of it before, but now that I think of it, makes
Duh.
sense. Duh, yeah, there we go. All right. So your dogs aren't born, able to handle every situation. So you use management. You use, sort of limiting or controlling the situation if your dog's not ready to handle that situation that they're in. You use management until you find out what you can do to help your dog or who can help your dog. If you don't know what else to do, increase the distance. Distance is your friend. Increase the distance between your dog and the problem situation. And a quick how do you know how far away is far enough? Far enough away is where the dog is not locked on to that problem situation.
Like if you got two dogs that don't get along, they like to fight and bite.
That's that's complex. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
if you manage that situation.
You do manage it, right, yeah. But if you've got a dog and they're concerned about that loud truck over there or something, or the motorcycle or the bicycles or something like that, how far away is far enough? You get far enough away that they are not locked on to that, looking at that problem, whatever it is. You get far enough away that they can focus on you. You get far enough away that they can follow a simple request from you. If they cannot follow a simple request from you, you need to get farther away until they can. That'll tell you right there.
Yeah, like one of our guys does not like big trucks.
Okay.
He hears a big semi and is like,
Right.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Yeah. And that gets to a point there of changing how a dog feels about a problem is a whole different set of skills and approaches and it's just different than teaching a dog to sit, stay, stand, come.
Yeah, those are coping skills.
No, those are you sit, stay, come.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's things that you do.
Yeah.
But dealing with the rain and the wind or the trucks or whatever, that's a coping mechanism.
Right. And what you want to have, for a dog that is upset about something or concerned about something, you do want to have sit, stand, come, stay, all in place so you can manage that situation. Because if you've got a dog that you can't even ask them to sit, come, stay, stand, or something like that, you're going to have a heck of a time with going through the procedures that change how they feel. But you're doing emotional reconditioning, and that's a whole nother set of understandings. Okay. Now on this here, talking about communication there, understand that growls are communication. I mean, we think of, we're embarrassed if our dog growls. Oh, you know, Ralph, stop that. You know, Ralph goes, rah, 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 don't like this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, growls are communication from your dog, and they are your dog's attempt to avoid further conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are trying, your dog trying to.
It's a warning. Okay, can we stop?
Can we keep the distance that we've got now? Don't come closer, and can you back it up a little bit, please, here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so on that, use distance to get your dog to a place where they feel safe, and then later figure out what to do the next time. And again, that process of reconditioning, changing the dog's associations to that problem situation is a whole different way of doing things than just say spot, sit, and get used to it. Mm-hmm. You know, get used to it is called flooding. That's like, okay, you're going to learn to swim, and where you're going to learn to swim is the deep end of the pool. Okay, that works sometimes. I don't recommend it. Other times you drown. Other times you drown, or you get a dog that's, you know, more panicked. They manage to get out of the water, but they were more scared about the water than they were. Okay, if you punish your dog out of growling, you eliminate that step of communication there, then what you've got is you've got a dog that still feels the same about that problem. In fact, they might even be more concerned about that problem. They might feel even more vulnerable, or whatever word you want to put on it.
At risk or
at risk,
danger.
Danger. But then you've got, okay, here they were, they came closer to that problem. If you were watching, you would see they're kind of looking and they're uncomfortable. Then they got closer, or that problem came closer to them, they're growling, you know, and saying, stay away. Well, you've eliminated this middle ground of communication. The next time they get in there, if that problem is as close or closer to them, they have a choice. They have, their dilemma now is they do not signal at all, and they try to just tolerate the situation, which has become worse for them.
That's like one of those things where kids like to hug the dogs, and the dog's just going,
right.
Would you just stop?
And if the dog's growling, that's your signal. Hey, that's
not the dog's problem. Get your kid off the dog.
That's exactly right. They're not plush toys. Mm-hmm. So if the dog's in deeper at that point, then what may happen next is the dog is, they couldn't growl, so the next level up, if they're in that spot, is they bite. Mm-hmm. They nip. They air snap or something.
They're in a dangerous place, and I need to stop right now.
Right.
So that's all the time we got for this episode.
So we'll go through the details of these. We'll read them over the next time, and hope you're back. And this gives you the feel of how training works. It's all common sense, and you put it together, and you get a pretty good formula. All right.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you next time.